Hi, Leo Dreger here with Cyber Area IT. I want to talk to you about Access Data Forensics Toolkit, FTK. It's relatively an easy program to use. You basically set it up, trying to get the basic navigation of it, and then actually start using it to manipulate cases and work with case files. It's pretty straightforward, so let's take a closer look. As far as the setup is concerned, it's pretty much an install program like you would install just about anything else. You're going to run through the install. It may prompt you for a few additional things, like to install some databases and things like that. Most of the time, you can just keep clicking next, and you'll get through it just fine. Or we'll look at it closer when we get to the hands-on part. There's also a known file filter that you can install. Definitely don't skip this one. This is a critical component of FTK and makes using it much, much easier. We're going to talk about that. There's a couple different licensing models. We'll talk about that when we actually use the software, whether you're using it for personal use or corporate use. And then you can actually set it up so that multiple people can use it. So there's a front end, back end setup to it. So let's say that you have a storage warehouse on the back end, and then you have many computers, like 3, 4, 5 front end workstations that connect to that back end computer to manage the case files and things like that. So you can use it in a single or multiple machine format. So setup's relatively pretty easy. Next is navigation. You want to get used to the different tabs. I highly recommend, just taking a little bit of time going through each one of the tabs and just getting the basic look and feel for it. Because what it'll do is it'll actually set you up to use a commercial product like Encase really comparatively. Okay, so there's the web tab, there's the filter tab, the hex tab, the graphics tab, the explore tab, the different types of bookmarks and indexing and thumbnails and things like that. So I'd say it would probably take you about, I don't know, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes or so just to get the basic look and feel out of it and be able to bounce around the tabs and learn it that way. What I definitely wouldn't want you to do is try to think of this as like a hardcore procedure where everything that you do is going to be, go to this tab, A, B, C, D, next. You want to get the feel for it, and that way when you're working with the software, if you need to switch over to another tab or feature, you can do that. So get away from the rigid approach to using tools, or what I call the spoon-fed approach to using the tools, because you may have to go in there and perform a task X and just do that, and then while that's running, you could go do something else. So it's more of an application that you should just be comfortable using. Okay. When it comes to the actual using of the Forensics Toolkit, creating a case is relatively simple. You go out, you fill out a form tab, fill out a bunch of details of it, and then basically save it as a case. Then you can go in and start importing your evidence, whether it be a zip file or an ISO or a hard drive or a partition or an SD card or something like that. Then there's data carving options. Data carving is relatively simple in theory. Big fancy name, but nonetheless very, very simple. Data carving is basically looking for hidden files or components that are either hidden on the hard drive or within other files, similar to steganography. Then some basic things that you would want to be able to do using the software would be things like backing up cases, restoring cases, or potentially even deleting cases if you need more space or something like that. There's a variety of filters that you can apply when you're looking for data or analyzing data because, again, this is a very, very powerful tool. There's also some decryption options for analyzing encrypted files. So if you want to analyze something that's on an encrypted file system, EFS for Windows, you can do that. And then finally, you can write a report, which is ultimately your final report, which you will write the report and then send that to whoever needs the report. Okay, so that's the big picture of Access Data's Forensics Toolkit. And we could talk about the theory of it all day long, but nothing is more valuable than hands-on experience. So let's go take a closer look.